make it, do it. Makes us harder, better, faster, stronger.
That don't kill me, can only make us stronger. I need you to hurry up now.
Welcome to another edition of Cougar Talk. I'm Cameron Edwards along with the crew.
I'm Parker Huff. Justice England.
Jared Darnell.
And I'm Adam Clark.
And we're bringing you this week's sports news. Let's head on over to our soccer correspondent, Adam Clark. Adam, how's the Cougar season going so far?
Well, we have won 2 of our last 3 away games, which is pretty good. We are currently 2-8, so those away games are our only wins right now. Right now, we have scored a total of 7 goals in the past 8 games, but we have allowed 32. Right now, our lead scorer is Mila Scott with 3 goals in the past 7 of the 8 games. Our leading assist is Savannah Cobb with 3 assists in the past 7 games. She's a newcomer this year. She's a nice new addition. And, well, they play again tonight, hoping to pull out a W. Coach Humphrey's hoping for the best, hoping for a win. And all we can do is watch and get.
All right, thank you, Adam Clark, for all your assistance there. Let's move on to the next sport of volleyball. Volleyball correspondent Justice England, he happens to keep us updated on all of our volleyball stats on the social media.
Yes. For this season, volleyball team's looking decent. On the season, we have 4 wins and 7 losses. Overall, in the region, we have 2 wins and 4 losses. And then in the district, we have 1 win and 2 losses. That is our volleyball record. And then in our previous game against Madisonville, we did very well. They played very hard, showed a lot of spirit, but came up just short of what they needed to get the win. But we are also playing with some injuries on the varsity team. Right here lately, we've had Lauren England and Edie Cook out, with both have ankle injuries, and Lauren England actually got released today. And then we also have another player injured, which is Allie Cheatham, who played with her injury in the past game. She has a hurt hand, and that's all I have for the injury report for them. But tonight they're going to Todd County to play against the Rebels, so let's see what they can do.
All right, thank you, Justice, for your report there. Now we move on to the main event of tonight's podcast. Tomorrow's game against the 3-0 Muhlenberg County Mustangs and your 3-0 McLean County Cougars. Cougars are coming off a big win at Crittenden County last week, 16-7. Parker, do you have some stats for us from the last game?
Yes, I do. The McLean County Cougars had a total of 311 rushing yards, led by Trevor Turley with 17 rushing attempts for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bryson Parker had 223 attempts for 119 yards, and sophomore Noah Baldwin had 10 attempts for 55 yards. The defense played heavy through 3 quarters until Crittenden County scored during the 4th quarter. The Cougars allowed 157 passing yards and 1 passing touchdown in the 4th quarter. They were very vulnerable to the flats or the short passing routes, but they defended very well against the deep ball.
Yeah, going along with what Parker just said, their passing offense is starting to show some promising signs. After going the first 2 games of the season without an interception, the McLean County defense picked off 4 passes against Crittenden County. Noah Baldwin, Elijah Knight, Bryson Parker, and Dakota Patton each with an interception in that game. Their rush defense is still remaining pretty good. McLean County is ranked 4th in 2A state in rush defense, allowing just 68 yards per game. And they're ranked 9th in 2A state in scoring defense, allowing just 16 points per game. Their linebacker, Jacob Enoch, is leading McLean County and all players on the field with 25 tackles, 10 of which were solo.
Thank you, Jared Darnell, for that. Thank you as well, Parker Huff. That moves us into tomorrow night's game, where we take on the 3-0 Muhlenberg County Mustangs. Cougars lost at home last year, 14-46. In order for the Cougars to win this year on the bounce back, they have to do this. Your keys to the game are they have to run and run early. Trevor Turley has 38 attempts on the year. He has 365 yards with 5 touchdowns. He has 5 touchdowns plus 5 2-point conversion attempts, which makes him 6th in the state for 2A scoring. He also averages 122 yards per game, which makes him 12th in 2A for rushing. Our second leading rusher, Bryson Parker, on 50 attempts, has run for 325 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's averaging 108 yards per game, which makes him 14th in the state for 2A rushing. Last week, offensive line was looking pretty shaky, not allowing the run game to get going early. So they really need to improve this week so we can go back to our main offense. Need to continue to improve the pass defense. Week 1 against Breckenridge County, we allowed 103 passing yards. Week 2 at home against a very talented Heath Simmons, allowed 340 yards and 3 touchdowns. Last week we saw improvements as they only allowed 149 yards, 1 pass touchdown, but they had 4 interceptions. Also, reeling off of last week's Screening County altercation, 24 players have been suspended, so replacements for the suspended players are going to have to step up and play big for the Cougars tomorrow night if they want to win. Also, be looking at most of the starters. They'll be going both ways, so make sure you keep an eye on that tomorrow night. Last week in crucial situations, Cougars had a lot of mental errors, allowing a lot of penalties that really hurt them in the long run. So we need to limit our penalties this week so we can keep going and scoring. I also need to stop their star player, so let's hand it over to Adam Clark. Hunter Combs, how good does he look on paper, Adam?
Phenomenal, if you ask me. 42 attempts with 394 yards and 5 touchdowns. He averages 131 yards a game, which is 4th in 6A rushing in the state of Kentucky. He has a total of 14.7 points a game. That's with him being a quarterback, a kicker, and a safety. He has 5 touchdowns, 12 PATs, 1 conversion, which all equal 44 points, which is 2nd in 6A scoring in Kentucky.
Now let's look at the other head of the two-headed monster, running back Damon Johnson. Jared, what can you tell us about him?
They need to stop this running back, Damon Johnson. He's got 403 yards on 43 attempts, averaging about 134 yards per game. Not to mention he's got 4 touchdowns to go along with that, making him 3rd in 6A rushing.
Thank you, Mr. Jared Arnell there. All right, so that brings us to the part of the show where we predict the score. So the past 2 weeks we have been completely off. The first week we were way under. Next week we were way over. Maybe we can do a little bit better this week. Let's start off with Jared. Jared, what's your prediction for this week?
I think that MCHS will win.
Jared, which MCHS?
The one that's 3-0.
We're both 3-0.
Adam, what about you?
I'm going to go with McLean County on this one. I say that we're going to keep our hot streak, and Muhlenberg will become 3-1, even though they are a bigger school, 6A. I'm going to call it, let's keep it close. Let's do 16-18 McLean County.
Okay, that sounds pretty close.
Hard-fought game, and it's going to all come down to the third and fourth quarter, the second half.
Let's hand it on over to Parker.
I think McLean County will win 28-21. Trevor Taylor will intercept the ball and run it back for a touchdown to end the game. That will end the game right there.
So we actually had a poll on our Twitter page. If you're not following us, our Twitter handle is @McLeanSportsNet. 69 of you voted, and 83% of you believe that the Cougars will go 4-0 on Friday night. So I'm going to have to stick with the people and say McLean County will win. Score of 24-21. And our big player of the game is going to be Trevor Turley. Trevor Turley's going to have to step up and handle the Cougars this week. So, guys, do you think our predictions are going to be off this week? Jared's one. Okay. So the crew's going to be there tomorrow night broadcasting the game for you live. Me and Parker will have the call. Adam Clark will be on the camera. It'll actually be Jared Darnell's birthday, so he won't be with us. If you happen to see him out on the street, make sure to wish him a happy birthday. And so that brings us to our next topic. Today's a national holiday.
What could it be?
It is the start of the NFL football season.
About time.
It's a rematch between last year's Super Bowl contenders, the Broncos, and the Carolina Panthers. So, good luck to everybody with your fantasy teams. I'm Cameron Edwards.
Jared Darnell.
And Parker Huff.
This has been another edition of Cougar Talk brought to you by McLean County Sports Network. Everybody have a good night.
That don't